I still have a problem with 270 awnings, mostly because I can't find one that checks all my boxes. If you want to know what that checklist looks like, stick around. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Varsity Overland channel, and in today's video I'm going to cover the 5 qualities that I would consider if you are looking into getting yourself a 270 degree awning for overlanding. Now, if you're new to the channel, I do put out a new video every week. This is actually week number 30. I challenged myself back in the fall to see if I could post one video a week, how long that could go for, and this is week 30. So I post adventure videos and then product videos a lot like this one. So click subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's video. Now, this video today is sort of related to a video that I made over the summer about why I hate 270 degree awnings. It is a little bit of a lengthy video. I will put up some footage right now as well as the tag in the top corner if you're interested in going to watch that. But today's video is a little bit of a follow-up to that because I can't seem to find myself a 270 degree awning that I really like. I have some very specific criteria that I want to incorporate into the awning, criteria that my current awning does not meet. I currently have an Overland Vehicle Systems 270 awning. I believe it's the LT awning. So with today's video, I'm going to give you exactly what those criteria are. Now, if you find yourself watching this video and you think that you've come up with the perfect solution or the perfect 270 awning product for me, please comment down below. And if I happen to mess up any of the specifics related to the awnings I'm going to mention, definitely correct me. I don't have everything memorized perfectly, although I am pretty confident I've done a fair amount of research in order to put this all together. So as you can see, I don't have my awning mounted on the truck currently. It's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I just ended up taking it off and putting it on the floor of my garage. There's a fair amount of rubbing on the material that's causing a hole to develop on the canvas, even though I really only used the awning for about 3 or 4 weeks during our trip to Colorado before that started happening. And there are some other issues with the awning which I'm about to address with my checklist. So the first thing would be, does your 270 degree awning meet up with the back of your vehicle? So normally you unzip it from the side, it comes all the way around to the back of the vehicle, and when it does the awning butt up against the back of your rack, the back of your tent, or even just the back of the vehicle itself? Maybe you have an SUV and you want the awning to come all the way to the back. My awning from Overland Vehicle Systems does not do that. I'm going to put up some footage of that right now. It tends to leave a little bit of a gap, and based on my research, I kind of figured out that this is a common trait with a lot of 270 degree awnings. They don't meet up with the back of the vehicle. So far through my research, I've been able to find 2 exceptions to this. Number 1 would be the $2,000 James Baroud 270 degree awning. So I guess, you know, they say you get what you pay for, and maybe that's true. The other one is the awning from Free Spirit Recreation, the 270 degree that they just came out with. I think it's like a new release of theirs. Spoiler alert, that awning from Free Spirit Recreation is going to be a front runner in this video. So just letting you know. Other 2 possibilities would be the 270 from Alucab or Alucab. Their awning doesn't meet up with the back 100%, but you can purchase a awning gutter that slides into the T-track of the awning and fills that gap. And then the other possibility is the hard case or the hard shell awning from iKamper. That awning has a little bit of some extra material at the end of it when you fully unwrap it, and that extra material does help bridge the gap on the back of the vehicle as well. So the second item on my checklist has to do with the shape of the awning once it's open and whether or not it actually squares off in the back of the vehicle. So it turns out a lot of 270s, when they're all the way deployed open, they don't actually square off in the back. There's more of a point where the awning canvas kind of like comes to a peak in the back, and it doesn't really seem like a big deal. And I think if you have a smaller vehicle, maybe like a Jeep or something similar, it's not going to cause that much of a problem. However, if you have something like a truck or the back of your vehicle has, like a pull-out tray or a drawer system, what could happen is without the awning being squared off, you could end up pulling your equipment out of the back and to the point where, the awning on top is not covering it completely. I'm going to put up a couple pictures on the screen right now about what that might look like. Some awnings are squared off in the back, which is what I would prefer. Other awnings have a little bit of a slant or a little bit of a diagonal line to them, and that could leave part of your situation behind your vehicle exposed. So yet again, the awning from Free Spirit Recreation is squared off in the back. So that's a positive, another positive for that product. The other two that I can think of would be Alucab is squared off in the back, James Baroud is squared off in the back, and I believe the iKamper 270 is also squared off in the back. So that way you have that like nice symmetrical, cover from rain or other precipitation, as well as the shade, and you don't have to worry about dragging things out of the back of your vehicle and leaving them exposed on, the portion of the awning that actually isn't providing any cover. So moving on to item number 3, and I am in my garage down here on the floor with my Overland Vehicle Systems awning. But item number 3 is, how is the awning mounted? This is something very important that you need to consider when it comes to purchasing your awning, because some awnings actually only offer a permanent solution. Awnings such as the Alucab or even the original 270 awning, which was from Big Country 4x4, the Ostrich Wing and the Ostrich Wing Junior, you actually have to drill through the canvas because this T-channel or this T-track that's on the back of most awnings is not exposed for those awnings. The canvas is actually on top of this. So you need to remove the canvas, put in your equipment, put in your bolts, put the canvas back on, measure out where those bolts are coming through, and then actually drill through or tear through the canvas in order to expose them. I think the Big Country 4x4 Ostrich Wing is more complex than that, but a lot of people will say that, if you do it that way, it's because the awning, it gains extra rigidity and it becomes stronger when you actually have to kind of DIY the nuts and bolts yourself. But what that does is it kind of makes the solution that you come up with permanent. Wherever you attach it to on your vehicle, it pretty much has to stay that way, which is why you see a lot of Alucab awnings mounted to the Alucab tent or the canopy camper permanently. I prefer this method with the T-track, just in case I were to change the locations of my crossbars on my truck, or if I was going to change anything else about the rear setup on my truck, I would also be able to easily change the location of the awning. Decided to move my truck into the sun, hoping that it'd be easier to see. But the fourth suggestion that I have related to the awning would be its weight and its size. Depending on the size of your vehicle, whether you're using an SUV or a truck, especially if you have a truck, you want to know how long the truck bed is, and then in comparison to how tall your rack is, because a lot of the awnings, especially for a midsize, a lot of the awnings are going to extend not only over the bed of the truck, but also over to the cab. I know some companies make smaller awnings. I think maybe the Big Country 4x4 Ostrich Wing Junior might be able to fit in just the bed section. I know Overland Vehicle Systems makes a smaller awning. I think it's the LTE that just fits in the smaller section. So if you happen to have one of those mid-height cab racks for your rooftop tent, and the brackets aren't tall enough, you're gonna need an awning that does not extend all the way in front of the cab, because obviously then you would not be able to open your door. So depending on the size of your rack, depending on the length of your bed, you're gonna want an awning that fits accordingly. Also, with the size difference, there's probably going to be a weight difference, and normally the weight isn't, too big of a change. It can vary between 40 pounds, 50 pounds, maybe 60 pounds. I would say that unfortunately, although the iKamper 270 checks a lot of boxes on the good side, the one downside is the fact that it has that hard shell casing, and therefore it pushes its weight upwards of 60 pounds or more. And some people are trying to really limit, how much gear they strap to their vehicle because of the whole weight rating and, rooftop tent on top, adding to everything else. So My final suggestion is the awning freestanding. I know it might seem obvious because a lot of awnings today are, but there are also a few kind of like some of the originals that aren't. One of the awnings that I mentioned in my previous awning video was the Foxwing awning from Oztent, which is also related to the Batwing awning from Rhino Rack. Those awnings have become very popular over the years, and they are some of the first awnings to appear on the US market, but they are not freestanding 270 awnings. Now, because they're not freestanding, they are lighter, and some people find them easier to maneuver, but you do have to be careful when setting them up because if not done properly, they can easily break. So there are my 5 suggestions for you if you're looking for a new 270-degree awning for camping or overlanding. I did try to move pretty quick. You've probably noticed that I was speed talking through some of that, and that was really because my last awning video, many of the comments said that the video was a little drawn out and it took me a while to get to the point. So I tried to go quicker, but who knows, maybe for this video I'll get comments about how fast I went and how people couldn't follow along for some reason. That's just the way it goes. But if you have an awning suggestion that you think can check off most of my boxes, please leave it down below in the comments. The front runner looks like it's going to be the Free Spirit Recreation 270-degree awning. It is squared off in the back. It butts up against the back of the vehicle. It is actually the lightest 270-degree awning on the market right now. It is freestanding, and it does have a T-track in the back, which allows it to be mounted and moved very easily. The only drawback is that it doesn't have that full extension piece that comes up to the front of the vehicle. A lot of awnings today also allow that front part to swing out, so it goes around the backside, but then there's also that front section that comes out to the front to cover like the front door or the front half of the vehicle. Awnings like the James Baroud do that, the iKamper does that, I think also 23Zero's 270 does that, and the Free Spirit Recreation doesn't do that. So there's always a catch, right? There's always something about the awning. Maybe it checks off 4 boxes, maybe it checks off 5 boxes, but like, you know, one of them isn't exactly perfect. So am I being picky? Yes, I am being picky, but these are all things that we need to consider when we are looking at our awnings, if these are things that are going to hopefully last us a while and make camp setup more convenient. So with all that being said, I have actually purchased a new awning. It should be here in about 2 or 3 weeks. It is not a 270-degree awning. I am going to try a 180-degree awning. So leave a comment down below if you want to take a guess as to what brand I went with. I have not mentioned 180 awnings really at all in most of my videos or any of my videos. So it's anybody's guess at this point, but definitely hit subscribe and stick around so that you can see my impressions on the 180s. Hopefully I do not release a video in the near future that says why I hate 180-degree awnings. But you never know. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate the view as always, and I will see you next time. Peace, people.